Do not watch this movie without a box of tissues. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I will be reviewing Soul. So Soul tells the story of Joe Gardner, voiced by Jamie Foxx, and he is a middle school band teacher, but his true passion, the thing that he truly feels like he was born to do, is be a jazz musician. But he's kind of at a point in his life where he's kind of losing his passion for jazz. The people around him don't really take him too seriously, they don't really think that he can do it, and then one day when he gets the opportunity of his life, he dies. Yeah, I'm not kidding, he dies. On screen too, in a PG animated Disney Pixar film. You know that was Pixar's idea. Disney's too much of a snowflake. And then Joe finds himself in a spiritual realm of sorts filled with tons of souls who have lived, who haven't lived. And that's really all I'm going to say about it. He goes on many adventures and a journey, both physical and emotional, throughout the film, and that's all I'm going to say. Let me just say this right now. This film was fantastic. I adored Soul. This is easily one of the best films of 2020, despite the fact that I am reviewing it in 2021, it technically came out in 2020. Alright, let's get into this. Starting from the top, the animation, obviously, in this film is gorgeous. I mean, aside from the characters themselves who have been made to look like a cartoon, everything else is like photorealistic. I mean, even the clothing on the characters is photorealistic. And that's really been a thing for Pixar and Disney over the past few years. And the voice acting is so good. Like I said, the main character, Joe Gardner, he is voiced by Jamie Foxx, who is one of my favorite actors both on and off screen. And then the soul who's palling around with him in this movie is voiced by Tina Fey. She also did a great job. The characters in this film really resonated with me. This is by far Pixar's most mature film in regards to its themes. I mean, yes, this is a Disney Pixar production, but I feel like Pixar had a little bit more of like a say, or maybe a little bit more control over like how this film turned out. And that really has to do with the messages and the themes and the topics that this film deals with, the questions it asks. It's all centering around like the really philosophical stuff like death, life before death, life after death, what is really going on there, what is purpose? Is purpose a thing? And if so, is it a specific thing? Or is it one broad moral that you can choose to represent in tons of different ways? It asks a lot of big questions. And what's funny is, yes, this is technically a kid's film. It's targeted towards young kids, but like, these are questions that you don't really start contemplating until you're in your teen years. At least that's when I, started contemplating and asking those questions. Very mature stuff that I feel will actually fly over a lot of little kids' heads. And here's the thing with Pixar films. Many Pixar films have made me cry, but I normally don't cry until the end when, the big emotional Pixar moment occurs. This film, I cried multiple times while watching it, and don't even get me started on how many times I just teared up. Its messages and its characters, they really do just hit you right there. This film really does have a lot of heart. It really has a lot of soul. The character work in this film is so good. I really did care about these two main characters, Joe Gardner and 22. That I'm not kidding, that's the name of the other character because she's just a soul. She doesn't have a human name yet. It's just 22. That's what they call her throughout the film. Their dynamic was so good too. I like the writing between them is like top tier, pitch perfect. I loved the banter. I loved their dynamic. They have like this love-hate sort of relationship slash bond throughout the entire movie that worked extremely well. It's also surprisingly funny. Like, this is definitely one of the funnier Pixar films for me. Like, here's the thing. Normally, when I watch a film alone and there's a funny joke, I will recognize that's genuinely funny. I like that. But since I'm alone, there's not that gut reaction of like hysterical laughter. It's different when you're watching it with a group of people. When you watch it with a group of people, when there's a funny joke, you're more likely to all like bust out laughing, I watched this by myself and no, I actually did audibly out loud just burst out laughing at so so many there's this one joke I'm thinking of right now that's still so it really is very well written comedy. I actually had to pause it one time because of how much I was laughing. The voice acting was also spectacular. I mean, seriously, these vocal performances are some of the best I've seen in recent years. Seen, heard. I honestly do feel like there should be an Oscar for best voice acting. Is there? Or is there not? There's an Oscar for that. No, is there? Okay, well, first of all, if there isn't, there should be. And if there is, nominate Tina Fey and Jamie Foxx, because oh my gosh. However, the two scenes in this film that touched me the most actually didn't have any dialogue. And the fact that just the visuals and the thematic context were able to get me to shed tears, seriously, like, it is so well done, and it really is surprising just how much it hits you. Now, here's the thing with a lot of other Pixar films. Normally, when I'm watching a Pixar film, I'm really enjoying it, many times loving it, but the message is very clear throughout. Like, as the movie is playing out, I'm like, okay, I see where this is going, I get what you're trying to say, good message. The case with this film, it's like that, but it's also the exact opposite of that. Let me explain. As I was watching this film, for the majority of it, I was like, okay, I see what message you're going for. You know, it's not the first time you've done it, but you're doing it again. That's all good. It's a good message. I see where it's going. And then it got to the finale, and it completely pulled the rug out from under me. Because what you don't realize until the finale is that there's this huge overarching message that is what you're familiar with, but then underneath that there are tons of little sub-messages that are applicable to like every kind of person out there. And I adored that. That is so brilliant. I really feel like this is the film we need right now, especially after the crazy year we just had. Seriously, like, Soul is the escape and the fantasy that everyone needs right now, that everyone needs to watch right now. Seriously. It's because of how applicable that message is to every single person living on this earth that makes it such an accessible film on an emotional level. And yeah, like I said at the beginning of this video, have a box of tissues ready because, oh my lord, you are going to need them. So guys, in the end, Soul was brilliantly animated, brilliantly voice acted. It has a very applicable and relevant message that is, you know, applicable to everyone. If I had to pinpoint like one issue I have with Soul, I don't know if I would even really consider it an issue. Without spoiling anything, it's a decision that a character has to make towards the end of the film. There's two options, and the option he chose, it's not that I don't like that ending. You know, it's not like that it's not that I don't like that ending. My personal preference, I would have preferred just a little bit more that he chose the other thing. I feel personally that that would have been a better ending. That doesn't mean that the ending we got was bad. I already said I loved the ending we got. I think it ended extremely well. But I think the perfect ending would have been the other decision. I don't know if I'm gonna dog points for that. I'm not entirely sure. We'll just see whatever slips out of my mouth when I give it the grade. Speaking of which, let's get to that. Soul was a beautifully animated, brilliantly acted, extremely emotionally impactful journey that I feel everyone needs to watch and that the world really needs right now. I am going to give Soul an A. So guys, Soul, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments. It's streaming on Disney Plus right now. If you haven't seen it, please do check it out. And also, what is your favorite Pixar film? For me, Soul is definitely like in the top 5. I really loved this movie. I cannot wait to buy that 4K and add it to my shelf. Thanks so much for watching, guys. It really does mean a lot. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep writing, keep shooting, and keep editing. So Soul tells the story of Joe Gardner, voiced by Jamie... What? Soul tells the story of Joe Gardner, voiced by Jamie Foxx, who is a middle school... And what's funny is that, yes, this is technically a kid's film. You know, it's targeted towards young kids. And what's strange is this is an... Ah!